Today we're going to start on section 1-6, which is two-dimensional figures. In this case, they're going to specifically be talking about polygons, which include triangles, rectangles, quadrilaterals, all of those kind of things. So there are a few things you need to know first. A couple of them are just vocabulary. So you want to make sure that you know what a polygon is. It's closed figure, meaning there's no open part of it. It's coplanar. Each side intersects only two other sides at the endpoint or the vertex. And we name it using the vertices. So this polygon is called A, B, E, D, C. That's all you got to do to name it. Vertex would be any single one of those points. So if it asks you to name a vertex, C, E, A, any of them. The next two terms that you need to be aware of are convex and concave. The easiest way is to start by explaining concave. Concave means at some point it sinks into itself. So some points are on the inside, whereas convex, none of the points are inside any of the other points. So squares, triangles, those are convex. Stars, this little thing here that looks like the Star Trek emblem, right? They're all polygons. These are convex, these are concave. All you would need to know is how to identify which is which. Okay? Now, the rest of this chapter deals with something you've done before. And it's finding perimeter and area. So if you forgot the formula to do that, it's here, and that's going to be really important that you write this down. Okay? So, triangle, square, rectangle, circle. Now, in terms of what this is going to be asking you to do, sometimes it's going to be a simple find the perimeter, find the area. You just use the equation, plug it in, you get your answer, you move on. In geometry, we sometimes make this a little more challenging. And you're going to see something like this. It's going to ask you for the perimeter of this triangle. But it's not going to give you the distance. It's only giving you the points. So here's a sample problem. I'm going to walk you through how we do this. So you're given a triangle and asked to find the perimeter of triangle ABC. And you're told that this is A is -4, -4, B is -1, +4, C is 5, and 1. So there are several steps you have to do. The first step is find the distance here, here, and here. Okay, how do we do that? We're going to use the distance formula that we used in a previous section. Okay, and then you're going to say, all right, A to B. Well, my points for A are -4, -4. My points for B are -1, +4. I'm going to plug them in my distance formula and solve. Quick tip. When you are putting these numbers in, if you have a calculator that looks kind of like mine, and you try to do -3 squared, you're going to get -9, and that's wrong. Okay? Negative 3 squared is really negative 3 times negative 3. What happens when you take a negative times a negative? You get a positive. So be very careful. Remember, we're talking distance now, so your answer should never be negative anyway. But be careful if you're just tapping away in your calculator. It's going to give you a negative square, and it shouldn't. Same thing for those of you that have graphing calculator. You can see where I've already done it. Negative 3 squared, negative 9. That's wrong. So be very careful about blindly trusting your calculator. Stop and think for a minute, okay? So with that warning, all I've done here is set up my problem, done the math, and solved. For most of these, it's not going to be a nice perfect square, and you're using decimals, okay? So then, once I found AB, then I got to find B to C, and I do the same thing. You will notice that I have gone ahead and labeled x1, y1, x2, y2. That keeps me from accidentally mixing up numbers, which is very easy to do. If it helps, take a second and do this. You're working with a lot of numbers here, okay? And then my final one, I need the distance from C to A. So I go through just like I've done the previous two, and I solve it. Well, now I have my 3 distances, right? I found A to B. That was 8.5. So I can fill that in. And I found B to C. That's 6.7. And I found C to A. That's 10.3. Well, now you know exactly what to do. I ask you to find the perimeter of that, you know. I just add those 3 things up. And you get your answer. That's section 1-6. Some of it is going to be your straightforward perimeter and area. Some of it's going to be asking you to use distance formula to calculate something, then give them the perimeter or the area.